Hello guys, there's almost 4 a.m. in my Crystal Flight Simulator and I'm recording this video because I'm flying over my home state, the Irkutsk region of Russian Federation. Well, that's no surprise. My family has deep ties other regions of the world. There are relatives in Estonia, relatives in Germany, relatives in Romania, Georgia, which is the country of the state, relatives in California, and relatives in Australia. Well, so I'm pretty much one of the citizens of the world. Well, and I'm flying from the town I was born in, Nebraska, through the Baikal town, currently living in Irkutsk, and I hope the weather will be fine enough to show you sites of Lake Baikal that I know pretty much about, and I just hope these sites are present in my Flight Simulator. Well, at least before now. I was slightly disappointed by FS Global because they stated they modeled heights with almost 20 meters resolution for Russia, and I was flying over the rivers Vitim and Lena to Bratsk, and I just saw these rivers higher than other terrains. Well, that's a huge disappointment, actually. And as you can see, I've got Sim Flyer Garmin GPS map 2096, and well, it's pretty much better than the stock GPS. Default aircraft. So the first stop will be Pushkani Ostrova. That means if geographical names were translatable, that meant Hare Islands, because there are hares which were called as Ushkan, from Uho, the ear, by the local Cossacks, and that gave the name to the islands. Well, we've got almost 84 miles left. Wow, that was fun. That's bad. Okay, I will return to the recording when we will be closer to these islands, and I hope, despite there is only one. Wow, I could not see from there. But despite there's only one on the map, there are 3 islands, and that's actually quite picturesque view. So I hope we'll see them all. we are approaching the Primorsky mountain range, and we are flying over the hilltops that are called Galtsi, that means barren hilltops. Well, because no trees or very little grass grows out there because of strong winds and the harsh weather conditions, but people still manage to live there somewhere, and there's a little village. I'm unsure what it is apparently, but soon over this mountain range there will be Lake Baikal, and we will soon be lowering to see the islands. And we finally got clear of thunderstorms, and wow, here we could see Ushkani Islands, the great one, and I believe that's the thin one, and there is one more, the round Ushkani Island. Well, these islands are part of national park and the known habitat of Baikal seals, the nerpas, that are mammals close to the other seals, but they are the only seals that live and hunt in fresh water. They feed on freshwater fish here in Baikal, and during last few years I've spotted them not only on the northern central part of the lake, but at the south gulfs of Malemore Strait, which separates the Baikal's largest island, Alkhon, from the mainland. And actually, Ushkani Islands are the territory of the Republic of Buryatia, which is also a part of Russian Federation. And we are currently under the control of Ulan-Ude Center. So I guess I could safely, well, relatively safely, turn off autopilot and try to reach down. Just for you to see the sights. Of course, in real life, this flight would have never happened. Because this is a restricted area. Nerpas were hunted for a long time by the locals and by the Russian people for their furs and for their fat. Aside from that, the white furs of the younglings that turns blackish and harder when they grew older. They were netted, they were shot with the guns, and now they are almost extinct. But the population stabilizes, and someday we will see them as plenty as they were before. Well, I am reconfiguring the GPS.
Your contact center, orbit 5883 with you, flight level 320, orbit 5883, your contact center, roger.
So we could see more precise details. And the next step, well, we are going to see what will it be. I believe I programmed the GPS to point us to the northern part of Alhon Island, the Haboy Cape. Haboy in Buryat language means click. Oh, sorry, the fan. I used the Russian name. Well, this all is actually national park territory. And as far as I am local to this region, I could say that, at least from the distance, the coastline looks like it should be. Well, here are some marvelous cliffs. Wow. See that? The Baikal is one volcanic lake that was formed on the border of two seismic regions. So there are frequent earthquakes, and there are such different landscape, lots of cliffs, lots of lavas, and we will see once, but not in this episode, the ancient volcano. Well, we are going to move to the next spot, which is 59 miles, and once I stabilize the aircraft at the new altitude and the new altitude, I will turn on the autopilot and stop the recording for a while. And while I'm going to do this, I'm actually going to see. Well, there is one more thing that I should tell you about. The peninsula on the left is named Svetoy Nos, that translates to English as Saint Nose. Well, there are lots of faith in the people who live here, and there were lots of faith in the people who conquered these wild regions first time when there were no steamboats. A vessel departed from Listranka, that's on the western coast of Baikal, to Barguzin here in the Barguzin Bay, that's right across that peninsula. Could have been traveling for a month just because of wind changes and blows first from the west, then it could blow from the north and from the east, and the boat without own engine just travels across from coast to coast, and the boat couldn't sometimes even anchor at the coast just because of the constant climate wind change.
Turn left heading 070.
The weather
Resume all
is,
navigation. Descend
well,
and maintain
it's
flight level
predictable, but
090.
it's rapidly changing.
Turn left heading 070. Resume
As
all
for the
navigation.
climate,
Descend and maintain flight level
the climate
090. Bombardier 713.
different on the coast of Baikal. You can see the vast forests, taiga, they call, with pine wood, with other types of wood. On the northern shores you can see tundra. On the southern shores also taiga, and sometimes steppes, and sometimes there are regions with alpine climate. And by the way, the island Alhon, that's we're headed to, has alpine climate, and there is some sort of edelweiss growing here, so it's actually one interesting place to visit, but it's not as comfortable to visit as it used to be. See, when there was the Soviet Union with its powerful resources, Soviets maintained airline supplies to remote regions in Yakutia, in Buryatia, and all over this Siberia, including Irkutsk region, and there is an airfield located at the village Karency on the island of Latko. So this was an airport, and aircrafts went there, if not daily, but at least once per 2 or 3 days. And now the airport operates only helipad, and only a few times a year small general aviation crafts could have been seen there. And as far as I know, the presence of F-gas in that currency airport is unpredictable also. You better call if you are traveling with aircraft, and ask for weather forecast and so on and so forth. As for street rules of piloting in Russia, well, there might be other things. And this island is connected to the mainland during summertime by ferry on the southern side, which closes when the weather is stormy, and during winter time it is connected to the mainland through the ice road, starting from some cape on the right side here. Well, we might be passing by this cape. It varies from year to year depending on the strength of ice. Well, and coming to the Peshane village, we will see that place also. And during autumn and spring, when the ice is weak and the storms are great in the region, there is almost little to no connection at all. Only occasional ferries when the weather is nice, or small boats. I'm going to the Kujir village and to other places on the island. And also Baikal is said to be the most sunny place in the region, but I had a terrible experience of living for 2 months at Kujir at the year 1998. That was a financial crisis in Russia, and there was no electricity on the island. Today there's underwater cable connecting the island to the mainland and giving the electricity supply also on the southern side. And the weather was sometimes rainy and sometimes stormy. I even occurred to get myself in the storm while traveling on the tugboat. So that was actually the first time I got into storm. Baikal. Second time it was not on the boat but on shore. I was lying in the tent for 3 days and I couldn't just wake up. No, not wake up, but get up. Sorry, because the wind was so strong. The birds, they were walking to the lake to feed, and the rain was going parallel to the ground. So one man installed summer kitchen in the open tent, and that installation was thrown on top of the hill by the wind, and well, that's one harsh weather. It is called by the locals as Verkhavik. The wind that comes from the hills, not from the hills, but from the hilltops to be exact. The hilltops, Verkhovia, Vershini, well, and actually, to hell with the autopilot, we're going to see the sights. And actually there's one more possible storm in that area that is deadly. That is called Sarma. We will be passing by the mouth of river Sarma, and you will see the valley between two parts of mountain range that this wind is coming from. Its speed is almost 100 kilometers per hour. It can throw the boat on the shore. It is surely deadly to any aircraft. So, but it happens mainly during September, October, or November, and during some spring months. It is pretty safe to say that you have little to no chances encountering the Sarma storm in the winter or in the summer. And today, I think it's the day that is stormy, but not so deadly. And I am using real weather here in FS6, so we can at least imagine what is it like. In case you are unfamiliar with the area, we are going north to south, and on the left of us there will be the deepest part of the lake. That is, if I remember correctly, 1,600 and a few dozen, 45 maybe meters. That's one deep lake that's reasonably called sea by the locals. And on the right there will be maybe the least deep part of the Lake Baikal, the Malaya Strait. We are headed directly to the Hoosier Cape, and the ending point of this GPS hop is actually the village Peshane. It is a deserted village that stays on sand dunes from the word pisok, or the sand in Russian. There are two places called Peshane on the shores of Baikal, and they are both named after the sand dunes. There was a fishing station in that village during the Second World War that provided Baikal fish to the Soviet Army, and my granddad worked there as a fisherman. We've got just enough fuel to have this sightseeing trip and to fly to Irkutsk, thanks to the builders of that great aircraft. By the way, if you look over here, there is the highest point on the island of Alekhom, the Mount Ijimei. It is also called Mount Jima. That's believed to be the sacred forest that hosts one of the owners of the Alkhon island. It's a local belief, Buryat belief. were at, I don't remember if I said, they have common ground with the Native Americans of Northern America. They both have shamanism as a religion system. Well, from the distance I could see that maybe we could spot the model Cape Haboy here, but that's not promised, as I've never seen the area from air. I used to travel here by the jeep, the Russian jeep, as foreign tourists call it. The Ulyanovsk Auto Factory was 469 and its derivatives. Well, I guess we are missing the site because it's too rough. I'm having a little hope that we could see at least some resemblance to the real area, but a part of shape of the coast and the shape of that distant cape that we are looking to, and that I've got a photo on the Western Owners Club webpage. It's actually little to no true resemblance. But that's a common thing for less detailed regions like Russia. Well, we are flying over that Alpine Highlands that I was talking about. This is where the local edelweiss grow, and needless to say, it's all the territory of national park, so harvesting any plants here is prohibited. Over there, I believe, is the village of Olanhushin, and some kilometers towards the coast there is a place called Uzuri. That's also a popular tourist site of the Alhon Island. We are heading towards Peshane, deserted village. Well, it's not deserted by now, but hosts only a souvenir shop, and the souvenir shop owners live there. Well, we probably could see the place from the height, but actually I remember the final sorry, the final spot of this leg is not a Peshana. Peshana will be underneath in a few moments, but the final leg is actually that semi-deserted airport, Haransi. I believe that yellow spot on the ground is actually Peshana Way. Maybe it is not. Well, never mind. Definitely not this. In front of us there's the Cape of Currency, and I'm going to spend some time spotting the actual runway, because I hope that it is drawn on the textures, albeit it is not included into FS6. This western part of the island is mainly covered by steppes, while the western cliffy side is covered by forests, and also there are relict pine trees. That is because the region of Mount Ijeme is more protected by the national park than any other place, maybe. Not only because it is a sacred place to locals. I believe I'm missing something. Well, I'm going to have a wide turn and look on the ground once again. I believe I missed the actual runway, and since I cannot in time switch to Plan G and check out the F maps, and the map in Plan G differs greatly from the map in FSX. So I am going to check if there is a runway visually. It should be somewhere in this region. There is the Cape, there are some rock formations, and the runway should be in the forest. Well, not in the forest, but near the forest. Apparently it is not. Well, I just hope one day I will see this region modeled as it should be and included in some flight simulator, so I could enjoy visiting my favorite places amidst the busy week. I'm going to check things out. Well, we are almost in the middle of the island. That means we should be flying towards the village of Hujir that hosts local law museum, and near that the famous Shaman Cape should be, but as far as I can see, there's oh well, I'm sorry, that's not the Hujir, but that's actually the currency. And if you see there, right there, between the two lines of the trees, there should be the runway in real life, but well, or maybe here somewhere. Well, and this short leg, it's pointing us to the coordinates where the Shaman Cape Burhan should have been, but as I said, there are differences. Currency and Hujir are separated by mere kilometers, so they're very close. But as I said, these days there is maybe the only way to travel to the island is by the automobile, by the bus from Irkutsk, or by the van, or even by taxi, and via ferry to Hujir. There's 300 and something kilometers on the asphalt highway, and there are 90 more kilometers on very shaky and a little rough ground way. the way, from what I remember, this gulf or this bay should be the Yelga Gulf on the island Alhon. It's also popular tourist site. You see the cape and small peninsula and the bay. That bay is actually separated by the sand dune from the Baikal, and the water temperature in the bay is always higher than in the lake. So it's a popular spot for just having rest on the beach. And as far as we can see, the sand dune is not modeled as well in the FSX. There's one more interesting fact about the Alhon. In the middle of 20th century, Soviets tried to breed sheep and cattle on the island, but sheep were eating almost all the grass to the roots, and the project was ready. Or else we could have seen another ecological catastrophe. It's actually hard to tell from the height, and even harder to tell considering the differences between maps in FSX and between real life. But I believe the island in front of us, the small one, is the island Ugly, where some Buddhist stupa was founded a dozen years ago, and since the island became one another popular tourist site, there are boats available as from the coast, from the MRS that is the name of the village, but MRS means Моторизованная рыболовная станция, motorized fishing station. That's named for the port for the boats on the Lake Baikal. Well, and there are also boats available from Khujir to this island to visit the stupa. Definitely we don't have it in FSX, but that's not the tragedy. and here we are coming to the southern end of the island Aljon, and the small strait that separates the island on the south from the mainland is called Aljonskие ворота. That means Aljon's gate. And on the right, through the front right window, we should see the valley of River Sarma, where I was telling you the most harmful storms are coming to the lake. The storms on Baikal are often called after the river valleys. Where are they coming from? There are few that should be considered: Barguzin, Kultuk, Verkhavik, and Sarma. That covers almost every vector, from the eastern one, Barguzin, the southern Kultuk, the northern Verkhavik, and the western Sarma. And in front of us there's the Gulf of Mohor. That is another popular tourist site. There are lots of small campings and small hotels on the shores. And here on the left is Aljonskие ворота, the gates of Aljon, and apparently we should have been able to see the MRS from this distance, but I'm wondering where did the developers of FSX put this village to. Well, and the strait is maybe 3 kilometers. I don't remember. I have very, very weak memory. Well, as I feel we are not seeing the ferry at all, then we should move on. And the next leg should take us to the another place called Peshana Bay, and from there the final leg will be to Irkutsk. Okay, now there's the moment when I have to stop recording, and I've got to raise some altitude and engage autopilot and so on and so forth, because this is the long